Are you ready to embrace aging with vitality and purpose? Welcome to Essential Wellness, the podcast dedicated to empowering women to live their best lives at any and every age. Join us as we explore the secrets to living and aging well with insightful conversations on health, wellness, and finding meaning, purpose, and passion in midlife and beyond. We'll delve into topics like stress management, finding balance, the power of movement, cultivating resilience, and so much more. Get ready to be inspired by transformative stories, expert advice, and practical tips you can implement right away. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Segal. Let's dive in. And today we have a guest, Michelle. And so Michelle, I'll let you introduce yourself and tell our listening audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, and we'll just start with that.
Thank you. So good to see you again. For people who don't know, Mikel
Yeah.
and I used to play hockey together. Do you
Yes.
still play hockey or not
That's funny.
anymore?
Actually, I was thinking about you yesterday because I knew that we were meeting today, and I just recently have started playing hockey again after
Nice.
I think our team folded when everyone started having babies. So
Yeah.
I saw some people like writing about joining a rec league, and I thought
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. And so I did.
Something fun and yeah, a lot of good
I
things about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first day on, I was like, is this the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life? Because I got on the ice and I hadn't been on the ice in like years. But I just took it easy and it's been super fun. Yeah.
There's always like a good collection of people and they seem so like open and encouraging and
Yeah.
a little competitive too. It's good to have a little bit of all of that. So
Yeah.
something
It,
different.
it's definitely, it's one of those things like I gave myself a little pat on the back. Like
Yes.
I put myself out of my comfort zone and I
Yeah.
went and it's been super fun. Yeah.
I love that. So important. Yeah, because we are always like leaning into, I should do this and I should do that. And when
Yes.
you do something, like take a moment and do the high five and
Yeah.
celebrate.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely have been doing that because that one was hard and I didn't know anyone and just
Oh,
lots of
all
things.
the
But
stuff.
all the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the potential to, yeah, have new
Yeah.
friendships
Yeah.
and physical
Yeah.
health and play and all that.
Yeah. It's been
So
really
yeah,
fun.
so good to see you again.
Yeah.
We've both been trying to manage families and our bodies and health, and we're
Yeah.
all both a bit older than the last time we saw each other.
Yeah.
I am a physiotherapist and live in Vancouver as well. I have two boys, teenagers, and the husband and the dog, so I'm living the
Mm-hmm.
dream as well, all of this.
Yeah.
Um, and I have a clinical practice here, amazing patients. I get to work one-on-one with people, and I've been doing that for about 30 years and started out being like a manual therapist and fixing everyone's alignment and doing lots of like needling, big needling center here in Vancouver. So everybody loves
Yeah.
needles, which
Yeah.
is so good for getting people better short
Mm-hmm.
term, but not getting really those long term effects. And it's about 10 years into needling and manipulating everyone and getting these like great feel good moments. I started into the journey of movement and just love it. At that point, had a lot of injuries myself, which is really important for learning what works and what doesn't and how things feel. I feel like I've had a lot of experience and have just been obsessed with taking courses all around the world. I still take probably 5 to 10 courses a year. Um, and use it with my patients. But
Yeah.
then also about 5 years ago, started teaching movement online just
Okay.
to reach more people. And so I feel like movement is my thing. My thing is optimizing mobility. And when I say mobility, I just mean I want you to feel good in your body and I want it to last a lifetime. This is about
Mm-hmm.
efficient movement, feeling good, not overloading things. And it's been fantastic because it kind of helps me and I learn from other people. And I've got
Yeah.
this lovely, resource of people around the world, but then also people in my clinic that we get to learn together. And
Yeah. I love
it's
that.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I love that philosophy of like learning, like moving so that you can continue to move and feel good as you get older.
And it's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it for everyone in this world right now. There was
Yeah.
a pretty massive change in about the 1950s, 1960s with just philosophy, everything from footwear to chairs, and then screens started to develop. And never before have we had this many challenges to basically using our body the way it was naturally selected for. These parts were not made for the world we're
Right.
living in. Our
Right.
brain, but also feet and hips, they are not made to be in cushion supportive shoes, to be in a chair at 90/90. It's the worst thing you can do for your body is
Really?
so
Yeah.
yes, you'll see I
Yeah.
have in my background, I have a million things, but I do
Oh,
not sit in a chair at 90/90. Right now, I'm sitting on my little poof here,
oh
but
yeah.
you want your knees up, or you want them down, or you want to be anything but 90. Anyways,
No,
it's a tough
tell
world. So
tell
yeah.
me more about that, about sort of why our body, like how our bodies have, like how things have shifted in terms of,
Well, um, where to start? I mean, I do think chairs and shoes are probably some of the biggest influences. Like we
okay.
became more cerebral, where
Yeah.
we start in
Right.
preschool and then we go along, and
Yeah.
most of us have a postgraduate degree, and then
Yeah.
you're studying or you're working and you're sitting in chairs, which was never existed to the extent that it does now.
Right.
And humans are just meant to move. There's no position ever that we are meant to hold for sustained periods of time. So you kind of always want to be shifting or moving, but so that it doesn't distract you. So it should be things that are easy to do. Okay, if you want to go down that road, I almost feel like I'm so bad at this. Let me change my background so you can see all the things I have in the
Oh, yeah,
background.
that's cool.
So I have my like lots of these poofs around the
Yeah.
house so that we can sit
Okay.
low.
Sit low. So
Um,
sitting low is better.
Sitting low. So there's one of the problems is we don't have hard, fast research on this, but we're taking what we know.
Yeah.
Um, One of the big things that I would say, I tell my patients that um, you can just apply to almost anything is you don't want the back of your thigh being what you sense, what your body feels. You
Mm.
want to feel your sit bones. There is an unbelievable amount of crisscross and tensions and muscles that change direction that cross around your sit bone. There are attachments there. Attachments are loaded with mechanoreceptors, which are nerve endings that then
Yeah.
stimulate muscles around them. So I mean, most people know when they roll their sit bones or people massage their sit bones,
Yeah.
they always feel better. So if
Yeah.
you so again, this idea of ground living, if you
Yeah.
sit on the ground, you're stimulating your sit bone. You can
Okay.
flip around, get some variety. You can
Yeah.
sit like this. You can sit like
Okay.
this, anything you want, but you get
Yes.
variety and you're stimulating the sit bone. Another one, you're going to think I'm obsessed, but I am obsessed, is a
Ooh,
kneeling
that's a cool
chair.
looking chair. A kneeling
Though
chair. Okay.
this is Nordic, so again, those
Yeah.
Northern Europeans are so much smarter.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not at 90. You're feeling your sit
Yeah.
bone more than the
Okay.
back of your thigh. And that
Mm.
stimulates particular muscles in your hip. It
Yeah.
allows you to still not disrupt this connection of ribcage to core. All these things, it keeps you out of your hip flexors because these will start to stabilize if this isn't a stable connection.
Yes.
Um, And the beauty is it takes no time out of your day. You're just in
Right.
different
Different
positions.
positions. Yeah, I love
Um,
that. I
yeah,
one of
I
my
love,
main, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
just
I oh, you're not
these
different.
are all my favorite spots. But just,
Okay, let's
anyways,
finish. Show me that
and they're
one.
kind of fun.
Oh, I love that one. That one looks comfortable.
So good. I
Really
love this
cozy.
silly thing. This
I was
is
gonna
a
say,
Thai, yeah,
what's it? Oh, that's a tie?
from
What's it called?
Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah, a triangle,
Tie
basically.
triangle. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say that I really feel like one of my main things is like in terms of like overall optimization of your health as we get older, the key is the nervous system. So that kind of ties into what you're saying in terms of the receptors in the hips and how they're connected to the nervous system. I really think that the nervous system is the key to like
Yeah.
holistic health as we age. So that
Yeah.
really kind of ties into my philosophy as well. So I love that.
Can I just give you a big kiss right now? Because that is what it is all about,
Yeah.
is your nervous system. It's
Yeah.
obviously central nervous system,
Yes. Yes.
autonomic nervous system,
Yes.
but
Yes.
also your sensory system. Like movement
Yeah.
is not about muscle. Muscle is a
Yeah.
stupid piece of meat, to quote Dr. Guy. It just does what the mechanoreceptors and the brain tells it to do. There's no intelligence in a muscle. And we
Right.
need slabs of muscle. It's important. It's our
Yes.
biggest endocrine organ. But
Yes.
stimulation, which is
Yeah.
again why cushioned shoes are the
Right.
worst thing you can do for somebody who has a balance issue. They need to feel
Uh,
ground reaction forces. That's
I was going to ask
vibration.
about what the issue was with the cushion. Okay, because then the sensing isn't.
Yeah. You
Ah,
don't, so you're missing information that, and there's already a sensory decline, an age-related sensory decline in the
right.
receptors on the bottom of the feet. So
Okay.
we have three really important receptors there. One is stretch. You have to get your feet into different shapes. That's a stretch receptor.
Right.
So that's where supportive, like cushion tight shoes are
Right.
not very good because your feet just don't move. And there are 33
Mhm.
joints in there, every one of them with
Right.
mechanoreceptors that are waiting for you to move them, stimulate them. They're like buttons that turn on muscles and they don't move all day and they're on
Right.
flat surfaces. So you want to change shape. You
Yeah.
want texture. So 2 point discrimination. So you can go outside, walk on grass, sand, rocks, anything like that.
Yeah.
But so some of the other things, there's a company called Nabozo.
Mm-hmm.
And they, I don't know if you can see these, everything is textured. So it's a
Yes.
patented 2 point discrimination.
Okay.
I have insoles with them.
Yes.
I have things around the house. We do these things called foot wiping. So just grab a mat and you do foot wiping to stimulate them.
That's cool.
So stretch, 2 point discrimination, and then vibration, which are the impact forces.
Yeah. Okay.
Those decline hugely at around 50.
Yeah.
And it's part of the reason why, like old people, like they take very short steps. They can't even feel the ground. And this is very reproducible and testable. And that usually goes with being very ticklish and very hypersensitive to pain in your feet. So you
Mm,
just, anyway, so sensory in
yes.
feet, there's a
Yes.
massive piece of part of our brain, that homunculus, that real estate that is
Yes.
all for the foot. And you
Yes.
put it in a cushioned,
Yes.
supportive, tight shoe, walk on flat surfaces, and
Yes.
you expect your hip to work, your pelvic floor to work, and it just so
Yes.
um so feel things a little bit more. And
Yeah. Okay.
you don't have to work so hard to turn on your
Yeah.
glutes and to get your pelvic floor functioning and to have foot core and prevent those bunions and all those
Yeah.
things. So
Very
um
cool. Yes. I
I go on a bit of a rant. I love all these things, but like footwear is one of those things. If you can start to go a little bit more minimalist,
yeah.
you will get maximum gains with mobility and strength of your foot, but you just have to go slowly and start
Yeah.
um
You got to
start
reteach your body and your brain how to feel
mhm.
and to
Yeah.
stimulate those sensors. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that. So what,
Yeah.
tell me, do you have like a case that sticks out for you where you really helped someone make a big difference in terms of their
Mm.
overall health or,
Well, they're the ones that surprise me, and they're probably the ones that stick out more. I think I've got
yeah,
a pretty good system now of what
yeah,
I start with people, and I would
yeah,
say like the typical art is I have something called the move well theory. You just the little things you do in the day. How do you stand? How do you sit? How do you walk? How do you hinge, bend over? Like you
yeah,
just want to do those well.
yeah. I love
And then
that.
you
Yeah.
don't, so that's, we start with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole other world, but definitely nasal breathing is huge. That's
Mm-hmm.
the nervous system again, but
Again, yeah.
so much else.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably one of the most powerful. It is the fastest way. If you're dealing with somebody who's breathing in through their mouth,
Mm-hmm.
then if you're already nasal breathing, but
Mm-hmm.
that's number one.
It's a big shift,
Um,
yeah, for people if they're not. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
explore that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the third thing I do is just talking about feet. The fourth thing is this ground living, get that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so usually, that's what that little formula, starting that, is a massive acceleration to just feeling completely different in your body.
Yeah.
And then there are these people. So I would say if you want a story about patience,
Yeah.
um, so I get sent some pretty hard cases usually, and I love a hard case, but um, uh, people who've been to lots of different physios or
Yeah.
chiros and
Tried lots of
osteopaths.
other things. Nothing works for me, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, so I have this like, so this one person, so they had a shoulder issue. I love shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we always do a full global assessment, but we went in, there were a couple of classic things going on. We got the rib cage working, helped with a few things around biomechanics for shoulder. That usually really helps. They
Mm-hmm.
came back and there was no change at all. I think I tried 3 times, a few different things, but there was absolutely no change in their body and in the shoulder, the way they felt and the amount of pain. And um, I never like to repeat things if it's not working. And so we stepped back and we just looked at like what else is just not working in their body. And their left, it was their right shoulder, and it was their left subtalar joint, which is below the ankle in your foot, was super like locked up and not moving very well. So I
Mm-hmm.
did, and it was right at the end of the treatment, I did this quick manip just to get it moving, gave them an
Yeah.
exercise to make sure they could keep the wobble, butter it up, and they left and they came back and their shoulder was gone, everything they had
Oh my
felt.
God.
And, it surprises me, but it always sticks in my mind because we know this, that the body follows dynamic systems theory, that
Yeah.
everything affects everything else. And
Yes.
that if you feel
Yeah.
something in one place, that's usually not where it starts. That's
Yeah.
usually the end of the story.
Right.
And so often we get distracted by the
Mhm.
pain and we try everything. And so if you're really trying
Yeah.
and it's not working, then step back and look at the global pattern,
Yeah.
like how everything, the big picture. And very often you have to go somewhere where you don't feel anything, and that can have a huge effect. So just don't get centered in too much and just have
Yeah.
that license to play a little bit and keep thinking, what do you feel? What do you
Yeah.
notice? Sometimes
Yeah.
get somebody else to assess you. I'm really bad at assessing myself. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, big picture. And the
Yeah.
body doesn't always work the way you think. It's not
No.
linear, doesn't always make sense. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, thinking big
Yeah, that's
picture.
a great,
So,
great story about sort of, again, like the idea that not to get too attached to exactly what's happening and sort of just
mhm,
try different things out, experiment a little bit, and just again, the reminder of the interconnectedness of our bodies,
yeah,
our nervous systems, and how we,
yeah,
yeah, perceive
yeah.
things.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
really true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's an easy fix if you just step back a bit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's a
Yes.
great
So
point.
that's, yeah, there are lots of little stories, but that one has always stuck with me because it was so dramatic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I'm sure it made a big difference in that person's life too.
We had a good laugh about it. Yes. And yeah. And yeah. And I think there were some tears that were shed because it was kind of neat. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Emotional. Hmm.
And it sounds like you've kind of been living this lifestyle for a long time now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm really lucky that it's my job to kind of
Yeah.
experiment with things. And there are lots of things I've tried that haven't worked. But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel very lucky because I do have a lot of, I would say I don't have the best body awareness.
Yeah.
So thank goodness it's my job. So
Yeah. Focus
I
on it.
watch myself move, I make videos, and then I'm shocked by what I do when I actually see myself. And I've had a lot of injuries. I think I've had more injuries than broken bones, blown out joints, ligaments than any of my patients, I think, pretty close. Um, and yeah, and so it's this hunt of like, I am willing to carve out some time, but I want it to be really smart and I need the things that don't take a lot of effort. And I want to make sure I'm not derailing myself by
Right.
doing, yeah, by unwinding it during the day. So this, yeah, journey of trying to experience moving forwards, at least hitting pause on some of the things that have been damaged. I'm not going to reverse the hip arthritis or the labral tears or the blown out ACL or the T8
Yeah.
compression fractures. And the crazy thing is, so I have all of that, fractured ankles, I have
Yeah. Wow.
separated shoulders, and my body is so quiet and feels so good. So it's that
Wow.
testament that structure
Yeah.
and function are really, they're both important, that you
Yeah.
can have horrible function and have beautiful parts, like have
Yeah.
a MRI done on your back and you have back pain. We all have patients that are like that. But you can
Yes.
also have someone with multi-level disc degeneration, which I've had
Yeah.
since my 20s in my low back, and I've never had a day of back pain in my life. But
Yeah.
that comes with keeping my hips working, integrating my core. So there's
Yes.
the two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't a physio and more so just really loved movement, I think I
Yes.
know what I'd probably look like and feel like. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Amazing.
it is definitely a journey that I'm living
So,
and
so,
motivated.
so for you, it's just about kind of doing some of your techniques slowly and incorporating them into the day. That's made the biggest difference for you personally, would you say? Or
Well, the big thing is, what do I do when I'm standing in a lineup at Starbucks? What do I do when I bend over to put the leash on my dog? What do
yeah.
I do when I'm unloading the dishwasher? How do I hinge? Do I lock up my hip and bend through my back? Or do I move through my hip, strengthen and mobilize pelvic floor,
Mhm.
back of the hip, pelvic outlet, while I'm unloading the dishwasher? So the biggest thing is how I move.
Okay.
Walking. Do I have sufficient stride length? Am I getting my posterior chain? Or am I in my hip flexors all the time walking? Which a lot of people are.
Right.
So the biggest thing, if anybody's going to do anything, is just awareness of how you do the things that you're already doing. And
Okay.
then second is I'm one of those people, I'm not very good at doing exercises at home. So I like to go to the gym and I have a fabulous CrossFit studio that I go to. And when I go there, I do tend to then do some specific mobility exercises for my hip. I go a bit early and I do that, or I'll do exercises afterwards to so I do some of the things that I teach, I would do before and after the strength training.
I see. Okay.
Um, and then that awareness of just, yeah, try not to sit in chairs. I'm still working on trying to get the most minimalist footwear that I can. Um, I love toe spacers. I have all my millions of toe spacers here that are
Okay.
so important for forefoot splay. I have, I just came back from a hike in the forest, so these are dirty, but I love my
Oh,
paluvas. They
that's what you
get my
wear to go hiking.
If I go for a hike,
Yeah.
if I go for a run, I wear
Yeah.
something that has a tiny bit more support. These are topos.
Okay.
Because I've sprained both my ankles, broken the right one. I've had some forefoot injuries. So if I'm running, I do something that's a little more
Yeah.
supportive.
Yeah.
I wear zeros a lot. Like these are, there's no rise. You want to get
Right.
away from rise if you can.
Okay.
Um, no cushioning, no structure, very soft. I have cute little ones that are leather that I like.
Cute.
I love this company, Empress. They're from Italy and they're just so cute. They're little ballet
Those
flats.
are
I love
really
them. They come
sweet.
in a million colors. So yes, I have slowly gotten rid of all the fun shoes,
Yeah.
um, and gotten, yeah, starting to wear these. Um, yeah, so it's kind of infiltrated everything in my life, but
Yeah.
yeah, shoes, breathing, how I move, going to the gym, injecting a few things.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, are is having a toolbox of things that work for me, for my
Yeah.
ankles, my hip, my rib cage.
Yeah.
I think everybody should have a little toolbox of things that work for them, and I think we all
Agreed.
have to do them.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, and it's not bad, except for the fact that then you still have to be doing your VO2 max training and
I know.
we need our emotional, well-being and we need to
Yes.
eat well and sleep well and all of
Exactly.
those things. So
That's
Don't
yeah, I love
nobody assume that I have this mastered. I laugh. I have great friends and family to support me, and I
yeah,
make a ton of mistakes,
yeah,
and it's okay because bodies are so forgiving. You do not need to be perfect. You just
yeah,
want to get some of it right. Like just even
yeah,
small improvements make such a big difference.
yeah.
Lots of like
Absolutely.
ups and downs as you go along. So
Yeah, that's a great message.
yeah.
That's exactly what I sort of my philosophy is sort of just slowly do things that you can incorporate easily into your life that will kind of have the biggest impact for you, right? And
Yeah.
then you kind of keep
Hmm.
expanding from there.
Absolutely. Really important to have realistic expectations.
Yes.
Nobody's nailing it. We're just in this
Nobody's
together.
nailing it. Yes,
And so
exactly.
great to share information, yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
fabulous. What works for
Yeah.
you and talk about it, share it, and hopefully have a good little community, which this is so great that you have a community where people can come together
Yeah.
and get
Yeah.
ideas.
Agreed. Agreed. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Talk has been amazing, and I've learned so much just talking to you about. We do share a lot of similar philosophies in terms of holistic health. So,
Perfect.
it's
It's
been
good to
great
hear.
to connect with you. So, tell the listeners who I'm sure want to learn more about you and what you do, how they can reach you and how they can find out more about what you do.
Well, I put almost everything that I could find that is worthwhile on my Instagram channel. So it's
Okay.
mvmt.101, Movement
Yeah.
101. So I try to get everything up there in some good little short snippets. And then if you want to deep dive into things, I do have at movement101.ca is my website. And from there, I do have a school with my membership where if you want to learn some techniques or have some time to carve out for yourself, and it's you do want to set yourself up for success, do not sign up if you don't have time to put a bit of work into it.
Yeah.
Um, but if you're ready, I try to put the best things in just guided classes that spell it out for you. Um, so movement101.ca and then I do have my clinical practice in Vancouver, but it's a crazy wait list. So unfortunately, I can't see many people, but I try to put everything online so that people can get it that way at least. So
Yeah, that's the beauty of being online is you are able to share all your wisdom and knowledge with so many more people. And yeah, I've seen your videos. They're
yeah,
unbelievable. So people should definitely go
yeah.
check it out.
Well, thank you. Yes, I know I learn a lot. I'm so grateful for other people around the world putting information up.
Yeah,
It's a neat way of learning, something very different
it
now
is. Yeah,
compared to a decade ago.
one of the
Mhm.
benefits of this
Yeah,
connected
the world.
AI
Yeah,
society.
exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thanks again. Is there any sort of last bits of advice or inspiration you wanted to share with people before we sign off?
Oh, Jess, you got this. Like, trust
Yeah.
yourself, be good to yourself, take care of yourself. Yeah, and yeah, just keep learning.
Thank you so
Hmm.
much.
You're welcome. Bye. We'll see you.
Okay, bye.